Welcome into Outkick the Show, boys and girls. I hope all of you are having fantastic Wednesdays wherever across the country and indeed perhaps the world you may find yourself. My name is Clay Travis. This is Outkick the Show. Hello to Periscope. Hello to Facebook. This little show we try to do every single afternoon around 3 o'clock Eastern, getting ready for my television show, which will be on at 4:30 Eastern. This show talks about everything. It's presented by Sportsbook Review. It's Wednesday. The gambling starts in earnest tomorrow, boys and girls. And I just came out with my college football gambling picks. I'm going to run over all of them. We've got a lot to discuss. College football gambling picks, the Jameis Lawsuit, Steeler-Patriot drama, Ohio State's mess, and also reaction to my book from both the New Yorker and Deadspin. We will discuss all of that. But again, if you need the latest in gambling news, go to sportsbookreview.com. And several of you lately have been signing up to get your mortgages taken care of, to wipe out all your credit card debt, to wipe out all your student loan debt. Wherever you may need to go, let my guy Ryan Kelly at The Home Loan Expert take care of you. Across the nation, if you own a home and you're paying too much in interest debt for credit cards or student loans or anything else, and you don't have the money right now to wipe out that debt, go to thehomeloanexpert.com. Let my guy Ryan Kelly wipe out all your debt. And if you do so, I'll tell you what happens. You get a free Outkick VIP subscription and get an autographed copy of my new book. All right, let me go ahead and give you money. Let me go ahead and make money for you. How many people make you money? This guy right here makes you money every single time I give out my gambling picks. And that's why you should love me, because I'm here to make you rich. Let me go ahead and give you my gambling picks on Fridays or Thursdays, depending. I'm going to give you a 4-game parlay every time in addition to these. But right now, here are my gambling picks. There are 12 of them. For everybody out there who is like this guy, fading you makes me money! Exclamation, exclamation. That's actually impossible, because the picks are at 58% winners so far for the year. That means 58% of the time they have won, 42% of the time they have lost, which means if you have been fading me, you have been absolutely losing your ass, getting dunked on like crazy. That's why you have to hashtag respect the picks. That's why you have to be a shooter. Shooter, shoot. That's why you have to get rich, kids. All right, here we go. Here we go with all of the picks. Now, you get these picks early if you are an Outkick VIP, okay? If you are an Outkick VIP, you get these picks on Monday, which means the lines are constantly moving. When I give you a side, I'm not going to give you the specific side, and I'm not interested in you saying, well, on my book, that line is 22 now, and you're giving it out as 21.5. When I put these picks up, these were the consensus numbers on Monday, and now they are the consensus numbers on Wednesday morning when the picks went up, okay? You are responsible as a person to place your own bets to figure out what the lines actually are, okay? So here we go with my college football gambling picks. Start on Friday. Penn State on the road at Illinois. Here's why I don't feel that comfortable with betting on Penn State. It's a Friday on the road in Champaign, Illinois. And as everybody knows, Champaign is the Champaign of Illinois. You can't go in and beat the Fighting Illini by 28 on a regular basis on Friday in a Big Ten game. The Fighting Lovie Smiths are going to come to play. This is also a danger zone, okay? Here's what I think. You have a game on Friday against a team you know you're a lot better than. You're playing on a non-traditional day, probably in front of a crowd that's not going to be that excited or that wild. The next week, you're going to be back home in Happy Valley playing against Ohio State. Do you really think you're going to get Penn State's best effort on a Friday before the Ohio State game? There's no way. This is the definition of a trap game. Moreover, it's a conference game, and you want me to say, in order to win this bet, 28 points. I'm just not buying it. I think Penn State wins. I think they probably win by double digits, but I don't feel comfortable hanging 28 on them, so I'm on the Illini. This one is a perfect example of why you should be an Outkick VIP. FAU UCF. I gave out this number at 69.5 when it came out on Monday afternoon. This number now is up to 77. This number was just fundamentally wrong. You can almost create a middle now at 69.5 if you got this number. It's all the way out to 77 on FAU UCF. 47 points a game UCF is averaging. And Lane Kiffin's FAU squad is averaging 41. This game is going to be insanely high scoring. There is no doubt that the play here is FAU UCF on the over, but you almost have created yourself a middle if, like me, you bet this game on Monday when it came out. Notre Dame, Wake Forest, I told you guys I think Notre Dame's a good team. Borderline top 25 team, not a great team. On the road, plus 7.5, I'm telling you right now, the play here is Wake Forest, okay? No doubt at all, Wake Forest is the play, plus 7.5. It goes under 7.5, I think it becomes a don't play. At 7.5, Wake Forest is the play. Mississippi State at Kentucky. This game opened at 10.5, or at least the first time I saw it was 10.5, and I immediately went in and grabbed it. My logic is this. Kentucky's not awful. They are playing at home. They are undefeated. They have a strong physical rushing attack. I think they will match up fairly well with Mississippi State. And I don't feel comfortable on the road in the SEC going with a 10-plus digit underdog. I don't think the Mississippi State is going to win this game by 11 or more. So I love this. And by the way, if you disagree with a pick, instead of getting in the comments and saying, oh, so-and-so is going to roll somebody else, terrible pick, then bet the opposite. You don't have to have the same logic as me. But nobody needs your erection not having, penis not functioning response of immediately disagreeing with the pick. If you disagree with the pick, first of all, you're not remembering our cardinal rule, which is respect the picks. Also, you're becoming terrible pick guy, which is a clear sign that you regularly pee while sitting down because your penis is not substantial enough to otherwise make it over your ball sack and not pee all over yourself. All right? That is who you are if you are responding in that fashion. Don't be pee all over your balls guy. All right? If you disagree with my opinion, go to your bookie, go to Vegas, go place a bet on the opposite side. Don't be sits when he pees guy and dribbles all over his ball sack guy, because that's what you are when you're fade the picks guy. All right? Kansas State, West Virginia. I think that what's going to happen here is West Virginia is going to try to blow out Kansas State. They've had 2 weeks now to get ready for this game. I don't think Kansas State is very good at all. Will Greer's Heisman campaign has kind of fallen off the radar. This is an opportunity to re-interject West Virginia into the national conversation. The play here is West Virginia to win in a blowout. I think West Virginia wins by 20 or more. Arkansas, Auburn. Okay? Arkansas, Auburn. Listen closely to me on this. Arkansas is going to get a medieval level beatdown. Do you remember how they used to draw and quarter men back in the days? One arm, leg, and a leg. And you would get pulled until your body just collapsed. Until you were quartered, they would call it. Arkansas is going to get quartered by Auburn. Couple of stats for you. Last year, Auburn went on the road and won by 32 in Fayetteville. The year before that, they played in a little place called Auburn, Alabama. And Auburn won by 53 points. This is going to be a bloodbath of epic proportions because Auburn gave away the game against LSU. Arkansas is awful. They just gave up 44 points to North Texas. How many points is Auburn going to score? Name your number. Bloodbath coming. Auburn wins big. Louisiana Tech at LSU. Earlier this week, I apologized to Coach O and LSU. I said I was wrong. There was nothing that I have said about LSU that has been correct. I'm telling you right now, once I take a drink of water, because suddenly my voice disappeared, the play is simple. The play here is simple. It's too many points. LSU is coming back home off of a massive win over Auburn before they play against Ole Miss and get back into their SEC competition. This is the definition of a trap game. 21 points, all right? 21 points now. The line's right around 3 touchdowns. LSU ain't covered in this one, as much disrespect as I gave out. Now, Texas A&M at Alabama. Alabama's 3-0 against the number. They have covered 3 times by massive scale. It's difficult to set the line high enough. This is one of the biggest lines we've ever seen in a matchup of top 25 opponents. Guess what? It ain't high enough. If Alabama plays Tua Tagovailoa, they are going to beat A&M by 30 points, okay? A&M is good. They ain't great. And they're going to go on the road, and if Alabama plays Tua for an entire game, Alabama's going to hang 60 on them. I'm sorry. So what's going to happen? I don't feel that comfortable about A&M scoring more than 14. Bama wins big. UConn at Syracuse. All Dino Babers does is cover football games. Syracuse is going up against UConn. It's been a rough year for UConn. How many points has UConn given up to its 3 opponents so far? 56 to UCF. 62 to Boise State, and this one blew my mind. 49 points to Rhode Island. Rhode Island hung 49 on UConn. Guys, this is going to be a huge point total for Syracuse. I think they're going to go 50. They might go 60. They are going to cover the 27.5 with ease. Here's another blood bank. Tap the veins, boys and girls. Tap the veins, blood bank guarantee. Other blood bank guarantee, by the way, was UCF and FAU, the over. Tennessee, Florida is going under. Neither one of these teams has a very good quarterback, Garantano and Felipe Franks. And Jeremy Pruitt has an opportunity to make a big statement in this game by winning a huge rivalry game in his first year. There is no way points are going to be substantial in this game. It opened at 49. I immediately gave it out. It's all the way down to 46 or 46 and a half. I think it's going to go all the way down to like 45 and a half. That means you've got a big advantage on the market if you were a VIP. Tap the veins, boys and girls. 21-17. I'm not even predicting who's going to win. I'm just saying 21-17 is going to be the final, and that is a blood bank guarantee. South Carolina at Vandy. I took the under. I think Muschamp and Mason going to take the air out of the ball. I think it's going to resemble somewhat the game we saw between Vanderbilt and Notre Dame. The under is the play here. Georgia, Mizzou, the over is the play. Mizzou can't stop anybody. This is going to be a huge track meet of a game. Drew Lock and company throwing the ball all over the field. Lots of possessions. The over 64.5 hits. Those are my 12 gambling picks. Get rich, kids. Go 12-0. You will be glad if you did. All right? Those are all of my gambling picks. Now, I got to tell you, lock them all in. I'll be on the show in about an hour talking about a lot of other different gambling-related issues, but those are my 12 college football gambling picks today. Okay, couple of things. Don't be the guy who asks me about other games, okay? If you ask me about other games, I'm not picking those games. I gave you the 12 college football games that I am betting right now. If I were going to pick other games, I would have told you about those games, but I'm not. Okay, I don't know how many of you saw Deadspin came after me because they were triggered that the New Yorker wrote a big article about me, okay? I love dunking on Deadspin. I got a good Deadspin story for you. When I wrote at Deadspin a decade ago, I was a young associate editor at Deadspin before Hulk Hogan had bankrupted the entire Gawker company and forced everybody to sell. And I didn't like being at Deadspin because they weren't giving me creative freedom, so I bailed and I left. And when I left, the head legal counsel at the time, who would later help to make sure that Deadspin bankrupted, got on the phone with me and said, "We make stars. People who can't handle being stars can't work here." True story. And I said, "Really?" She said, "Yeah, we've had some people that we've made into huge stars. other people have left and they fade into oblivion. Who do you think is more fading into oblivion? A website like Deadspin or a talented dude like me with a national radio show, a national television show, a thriving website, and soon to be a nationally best-selling book? I don't ask you guys for very much very often, but my new book is coming out in 6 days. Right now it is $17 on Amazon. It will be in every bookstore in America. We have sold thousands and thousands of copies of this book as well as audiobooks before the book has even come out. What I would request of you guys is this. Please buy a copy of either the book or the audiobook. I recorded all 9 hours myself. It is $17 on Amazon. I guarantee you that it will give you $17 of entertainment. The audiobook is something like $20 on Amazon. That's 9 hours of my voice. I read every single word, okay? I would ask you guys this. I don't ask for very much. I do care and would like to sell an absolute ton of these books because I think it sends a message to everyone of how strong the arguments that I am making really are. Okay? So, beyond a shadow of a doubt, if you guys can make that happen, then I would respect and appreciate that for a long time to come. A huge book. I was told already the New Yorker never reviews sports books. They have already reviewed the book and written thousands of words about it. It's going to be in their newest issue. This sports book, I was told, has a really strong chance of opening on the New York Times bestseller list. We have sold thousands and thousands of them. And you can also buy the audiobook with my voice. So, I would request humbly Facebook, Periscope, everybody out there, for your dad, for your mom, for your brother, for your social justice warrior loving imbecilic friend who you think is prone potentially, if confronted with facts, to accept an argument different than the one that they believe. Make it happen, and you will be forever in my good graces. Now, if you want an autographed copy, you have to buy it on Outkick. I've got so much going on. I'm not going to be able to do that many public events. I've got TV. I've got radio. I'm located here in Nashville. We are doing a big event in Nashville. But by and large, I'm not going to be able to travel that much. Also, going to London for the Titans game against the Chargers with my family for 8 days soon after the book comes out. So all of that, I'm telling you, it's cheap. It's affordable. It makes total sense. Go to Amazon. It's $17 today. Okay? Be glad that you did it. I may do an event down on 30A. I'm going to be down for Owners Weekend in Rosemary because, again, hate to brag, but I bought a place down on the beach, and I will be there. There is no coupon code. And this guy seems like he's kind of a cunt, so I'm going to block him. If I see several comments from you and I think, does this seem like what a pussy would be saying if a pussy were in my comments? And I think to myself, yes, you know what? It kind of does. You are gone, and you will never, ever be able to hang out here again. That man is dead. Clay Kyle got another one. All right, book is called Republicans Buy Sneakers Too. I hope all of you go buy it. All right, let's talk for a minute. This Jameis lawsuit. This is an ugly story. And it's not going to get that much attention because for some reason Jameis Winston is protected in the media. But in the lawsuit, Jameis Winston gropes the Uber driver, and he also is yelling racial slurs out the window as she drives him around. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the media feeding frenzy if a white quarterback was in an Uber, groped an Uber driver, and was yelling racial slurs out the window, what the reaction would be? There would be protests. There would be a demand that this man never play again. And that's even without that individual having previously been accused of sexual assault. The crazy thing about this Jameis Winston story is that he only got a 3-game suspension. Now, Fitzmagic has shown up and I think basically escorted Jameis Winston to the door. But can you imagine what would happen if Tom Brady were accused of groping an Uber driver, and screaming racial slurs out the window. It would be the #1 story in America. ESPN would cover it all day long, every day, for months at a time. It would be Riley Cooper-esque is a good example. Jameis Winston does it after already having been accused of rape. And I think being guilty of rape, and hardly anybody even blinks. Think about that. Nobody said, wait a minute, how come he only got suspended for 3 games? Nobody said, oh my God, I can't believe that the Bucs continue to employ Jameis Winston. There is a different standard for behavior for guys like Jameis Winston than there is for other pro athletes. And I'm here to tell you right now, this guy also, I think, is really boring. I'm going to have to block him. Every now and then I look over and I see somebody and I say, my God, that person just doesn't deserve to comment anymore. But all of that, just keep it in mind. I think all this proves I would not pay him $20 million if I were the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't think he's worth it. I don't think he's played well. I don't think that his teammates really like him that much. And I think he has proven to be an untrustworthy, not franchise caliber quarterback. I think if you're in this day and age, Jameis Winston is a total liability. So I would let him go if I were them. All right, we got another Ohio State mess. Ohio State, big Wall Street Journal article that I retweeted. Ohio State AD and Urban Meyer may have violated state law by not saving all of their text messages. Gene Smith, the athletic director at Ohio State, turned his phone over to investigators and it had 0 text messages on it. I want you to think about that for a minute. The athletic director at Ohio State turned in his school-issued cell phone, and it didn't have 1 single text message on it. 0. Urban Meyer, immediately upon being told that he was going to have to turn in his cell phone, asked, how do you delete all messages that are over a year old? And then, go figure, when he turned in his cell phone, there were no text messages over a year old. The investigators who Ohio State paid to cover up what was going on at Ohio State didn't spend the 24 hours it would have taken to recover all of the deleted text messages on those phones. Think about this for a minute. What would your reaction be if you were investigating Ohio State and the athletic director, Gene Smith, turned over his cell phone and there wasn't a single text message on it? And when you said, wait a minute, why are there no text messages here? He said, oh, because I immediately delete every single one. I don't know about y'all. Sounds pretty suspicious when you have a cell phone and it doesn't have 1 single text message on it. Urban Meyer turns over his phone and there's no text messages over a year old. This is a cover-up of the highest order and magnitude, and Ohio State didn't want to catch anybody with it. This is pretty unbelievable for all of that to have transpired. I would love to see it. And think about this. Somebody just said this in the comments. I happened to look over and see it. If you saw your wife or your husband's phone and they didn't have a single text message in their text message folder, wouldn't you think, what in the world are they up to? I'm not talking about occasionally deleting a text message. I'm talking about on their entire phone, there isn't a single text message on it. You'd be like, I don't know what you're up to. You got some Walter White stuff going on. This is strange behavior. Okay? This is really strange behavior. Urban Meyer, nothing over a year old. Gene Smith, none at all. And all they had to do was spend 24 hours with a text retrieval company, and they could have theoretically gotten all those text messages back. And instead of doing that, the investigators decided not to. I'll be damned if that isn't an insanely ridiculous story that the Wall Street Journal just put out. I retweeted it. Okay? That whole thing is strange, strange, strange. All right, we got drama in the NFL. For a long time in the NFL, the only drama was, will he stand for the national anthem or not? Thankfully, that has finally started to happen. And as a result, the drama has really gotten ratcheted up. And the Steelers and the Patriots are at the top of the drama tree right now in the NFL. First of all, the Steelers have got a guy in Antonio Brown who is begging them to trade him so he can prove that he would post the same numbers with another quarterback. How about you guys? It seems really dumb. If you know that you're having success with one quarterback, why would you feel the need to prove that you can have success with another quarterback? This is trying way too hard from Antonio Brown. Meanwhile, Le'Veon Bell released a rap album. Pause for a minute. Let's pause for a minute and contemplate this. Le'Veon Bell is not making $14 million to play football. He's making really smart decisions, like deciding to pay probably hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to release his own rap album instead. Is there anybody out there who's like, you know who I'd really love to hear rap? Le'Veon Bell. He also is in Miami on a jet ski and a yacht party. Okay? Here is the deal. Le'Veon Bell, I think, is making a bad decision. I don't think he's going to make more than $14 million anywhere. I think he should make the $14 million while he can. But you know you got an issue in your team's locker room when your running back that you franchise doesn't show up and instead is on a yacht party releasing a rap album. And at the same time, he's running around on jet skis. Meanwhile, Ben Roethlisberger is also named in the Stormy Daniels book associated with Donald Trump. This is a mushroom cloud, no pun intended, of disaster. Okay? This is a ridiculous story everywhere. On top of that, we got more NFL drama with Bill Belichick and Tom Brady not liking each other. There is a belief out there, I don't know why. I guess when you conquer the world, you have to prove that you're the reason the world got conquered, not the other guy. It seems clear to me that Belichick believes the reason the Patriots are good is because of him, and that Tom Brady believes the reason that the Patriots are good is because of him. And to me, I think the play in general here is for these guys just to stop worrying about each other so much. You got a couple of years left together. You're like a married couple that's in its 70s. If you think about it from a sporting perspective, just stay together and stop complaining. All right? I asked this question like last year, I think. I said, which one do you think is more irreplaceable? Tom Brady or Bill Belichick? And the results actually stunned me. 80% of you said that you thought Bill Belichick was more irreplaceable than Tom Brady. I think it's harder to replace a great quarterback than it is a great coach. I think by and large, a great quarterback makes a coach look great more than a great coach makes a quarterback look great. That's my general philosophy. Now, Belichick may be the greatest coach of all time. It might be a bit different. It would be a great laboratory experiment to see what Peyton Manning would have been capable of if he had ever gotten to play with Bill Belichick and had an incredible defense. That, to me, is a fascinating debate. Instead of Jordan versus LeBron, I think Belichick versus Brady, who matters more, is actually a really good one. Finally, this Brett Kavanaugh thing. If you didn't watch yesterday's show, I encourage you to go check it out. All of the people out there have come out. There continues to be no witnesses whatsoever to support this woman's claim who has said that Brett Kavanaugh sexually assaulted her. And by sexually assaulted her, at worst, it sounds like tried to make out with her and then she left. You know, like, this is one of the most overplayed stories I've ever seen. The fact that the Senate Judiciary Committee is having a hearing into a 1982 House party is absurd. If you want all of my thoughts on this story, I would encourage you to go watch yesterday's show. I spent an entire 30 minutes breaking down everything, and I would encourage you to go watch it because I think I did a good job kind of analyzing it from a legal, from a political, from every other perspective. My position remains straightforward. You can dislike Brett Kavanaugh for a lot of reasons. Not voting for him to be confirmed to the Supreme Court because of an unconfirmed allegation that happened all the way back in 1982 is thoroughly unacceptable. Okay? Makes zero sense. I appreciate all of you. Make sure if you get a chance, go buy my new book, Republicans Buy Sneakers Too. It will be out in 6 days. It's $17 right now on Amazon. Makes a big difference to send a message. Buy this book. Share it with your friends. I want the arguments all out there to as wide of an audience as possible. And I love all of you, and I appreciate everything that you have shared so far with me. It's going to be a bestseller. Thousands already sold. I want to push it into the tens of thousands in week 1. I think Michael Bennett's book total sold 3,000 copies. We have sold more copies from like today probably than Michael Bennett's entire book sold for the time that he was writing. Appreciate all of you. DBAP boys and girls, my name is Clay Travis. Go buy it. You can get the audio book. You can get the real version. I'll be live tomorrow. I'm going to be live right now on FS1 and about what? In about an hour? In about an hour, I will be live on FS1. 30 minutes. Lock it in. It's going to be fun. Todd Furman can't miss a game. It's going to give you more picks. My name is Clay Travis. This has been Outkick the Show. Kisses, boys and girls. DBAP. But it's important to note that sometimes it can make a lot of sense to SBAP. I'll see you guys. Love you.